leader in our points right now in A gas. Chase Howard going to find himself in the Larice Motorsports Insurance left lane. Howard overtook Leslie Horn in the points standings while we're in Gulfport, Mississippi, after having a rollover up in Knoxville in the finals. This car's got a few little character marks on it, but man, they have done a tremendous job in straightening out what they could to finish out the season, and what a valiant effort it's been. Gene Fulton power plant underneath the hood, 451 cubic inches. Heath Adams up next in his 53 Chevy called the Rusty Bullet. Gene Fulton prepared small block underneath the hood for him. Just another reason that shows you how violent these cars can be when they leave the line. All that horsepower trying to get it applied to the racetrack, and then when you take into consideration the temperature sometimes, don't know what it is right now, but it's got to be cool out there, so traction is at a minimum. Briley Stott, the 17-year-old out of Columbus, North Carolina, in his Rambler, 67 Rambler right there, the young gun. Awfully good to see him back out here, as you know, with his age and job responsibilities, school, I'm sure he's not able to make every event, but when he shows up, he is some to be reckoned with. He won here at the beginning race of the year He's going to go down the track alongside an A-gas car, Stott being the B-gas entry here. The A-gas entry of Alan Pittman. And these cars paint up a lot alike. Really cool looking paint jobs on both of these cars with that, I guess you call it cherry red on it. Maybe something like that. I'm sure somebody will correct me either online or here at the racetrack. Bradley Stott said he was ready, and he sent it on. Whether Alan Pittman was ready or not, he knew it was time with the heat in his car to go. Our Superstock World Champion for the last 2 years, 24 and 25, going to make a pass here in the quick time performance lane. That is Jerry Dean out of Lacey's Spring, Alabama. His crew chief, Kerry Mitchell, right out front. Going to put him where she wants him, making that burnout. All right, Tony Tagenhorst here next in his car called the Wasted Wages. Bought this car from Herman Gehring several years ago, and got a Ross race engine underneath the hood, 302 cubic inches. I think Scooby-Doo's owner's been doing a little tuning on the thing down there. Helped his program a pretty good bit. Good run right there. Hey, Quayne Stott, Scooby-Doo, can we pet that dog? Can we pet that dog? Can we pet that dog? Doyle Lynn up next right here. Tim Hall race engine underneath the hood for him in that 51 Henry J that he calls the honky tonk. He's out of Dalton, Georgia. Little A-gas entry right here. All right, a couple of Superstock cars coming your way here. Ronnie Jones going to be in the quick time performance right lane into Crimson and Clover out of Knoxville, Tennessee. Hayden, Alabama racer, and the man who sits number 3 in points, Alan Lovelady. He's going to have his 67 Camaro in the Larice Motorsports Insurance left lane. All right, Ken Rainwater, the man leading our points this year in our B-Gas category, going to find himself in the Larice Motorsports Insurance left lane. That beautiful car he calls the Renegade. Huntsville Race Engines providing the bottom half of that race car. The head's provided by One Way Technologies. Mechanically fuel injected application here. Little 330 pull right there for Ken Rainwater. He barely gets the front tires down before the 330, as he had to shift while that thing was in the air. That was pretty darn cool. All right, couple right here. Can't remember these guys' names. That is killing me. But I'm sure I'll have it ready by tomorrow for you. But a couple of trucks here on the line. Gene Russell in the junkyard dyno right here. Hour and 15 minutes into practice, men. Just letting you know you. Phillips in super stock trim in the street legal, hustling down the quick time performance right lane. SEGA's points leader, Jaron Purdue, here in the quick time performance right lane in his 62 Chevy Nova. Going to go down the track alongside of Brad Wimberly in the Southern Sizzler out of McDonough, Georgia, the 62 Ford Comet. That Comet has a Lamar Walden race engine underneath the hood for him. Fulton race engines, the engine of choice for Jaron Purdue in the right lane. And as I said before, Purdue is your current SEGA's points leader. So Jaron Purdue keeps up his torrid pace that he has set this year in our SEGAS category that finds him leading the points category, and for good reason. Greg Stelz, A-Gas trim, the Joker out of Wapaka, Wisconsin, up next in the in the quick time performance. Leah Stelz, his wife, out in front in her Joker costume tonight. Very, very good looking costume. Very fitting for the name of the race car to have her dress as the Joker. short shift right there by Stelz, so it cost him a little bit on the ET side, but the car looked real good going down the racetrack as they continue to make improvements in that motor that is an in-house motor right there for him at Greg's Speed Shop. 477 cubic inches is the cubic inch of choice for him. Alfred Adams looks like he's going to be next here in the QuickTime Performance right lane in his C-Gas entry. Adams out of Clover, South Carolina, in his car he calls the Damn It Bob. Leslie Horn ripping through the gears right there, making a pass in the Chick Magnet. Man that sits number 2 in the points, trying to overtake Chase Howard. Don't know if that's going to be possible or not this weekend, but he's giving it all he's got. Superstock car right here, Rob Walden. Looks like the hood pin not down there on the passenger side real well. 63 Biscayne that he calls the Strychnine. 409 cubic inch motor under the hood for him, or engine, motor, engine. I'm sure Scooby will correct me on that. Blake Housley up next here in the 55 Chevy. A-gas car right here out of Lee's Summit, Missouri. .477 big block under the hood here for Housley. Housley built this race car himself. So self-built car. He also built the car Ted McKee, the man who has won a world championship in B-gas and finds himself sitting second right now. Tell you what, that is a beautifully slick black paint job on that top, just making that car pop. It looks really good. Same type of situation as they had last time, just absolutely blowing the wheels off of it, blowing the tires off of it off the starting line. So whatever's got to be done there, add clutch, take clutch, do whatever I hear these guys talk about doing. They're going to have to do that to get that down the racetrack. Wayne Swafford out of Fingerville, South Carolina, in a car he calls Leroy, B-gas car. Finds himself in the quick time performance right lane. Fulton race engine under the hood, 306 cubic inches. That's what he's claiming this weekend. Swafford was our finalist at our Gulfport race on Saturday as we had a double event there in Gulfport, Mississippi. So riding a little bit of a hot streak coming in here. Looks like Shannon Height needs a pull off the top of the racetrack. Maybe track personnel can help him with that. We got Evil Knievel. He's on the scene, and he's going to go rescue Mr. Height from the top end. While we got a moment, don't forget about the kettle corn man right there behind the stands. He's got all your popcorn, kettle corn needs. I seen the pickle man walking around or driving around in his golf cart, so he's got all those great pickles that he is so famous for. And don't forget about the hot chocolate and anything you might need at the Shadyside Grill over there. I know I'm a big fan of the fried bologna sandwich there. They do a great job with that one. I don't know much about the other food they have because I'm so stuck on the fried bologna sandwich. So I know the fries are pretty good. I've had those together. And if you're looking for any officially licensed merchandise for the Southeast Gassers, go over and see Stephen and Holly Smith. Looks like they may be closing up for the evening here and getting ready for trick-or-treaters, but they are there on the same concourse as the concession stand. So you can find them there today and tomorrow with all your officially licensed merchandise for the Southeast Gassers. All right, now that we got the top end cleared by Stan Knievel, we are ready to go here with Wayne Swafford, the next one around the corner through the water box. Robin Harris bringing him back. Going to get him all lined up and ready to go for his next test pass. Once again, Wayne Swafford runs in our B-Gas category and was a finalist at our Gulfport event at our last race. Nice elapsed time move right there by Wayne Swafford, but still bouncing a little bit out there as it come down. So they'll continue to try to adjust and work on that so the car's not gonna, it didn't get out of the way and violent right there. So I'm sure he'll want to get those front wheels down into the track as quickly as possible. Couple of Georgia Bulldogs right here on the line, getting ready to go down the track alongside each other. That is in the Larice Motorsports left lane. That's going to be Jimmy Huff out of Loganville, Georgia. And he's going to go down the track alongside of Dan Hogan in the Flat Out Falcon. A couple of Fords on the line right here. Jimmy Huff providing the horsepower for both of these cars as Jimmy builds his own, as well as for Dan Hogan, he builds motors for him as well. Big cleanup over there, guys, on the left-hand lane. I see chunks falling out of the rear end. So it looks like we're going to be down a while on the left lane as Jimmy Huff has suffered a massive failure in the bell housing area, it looks like. Unfortunate for Huff, so. All right, Stan Knievel, our official starter, said we're going to run that right-hand lane, so quick time performance lane is going to be it for a while as we get things cleaned up over in the Larice Motorsports Insurance left lane. That's one of the riggers that are coming out here for test and tune. It's tough on equipment sometimes when they're making this much traction. And I like to call them the buff boys. They definitely know how to get a track good and sticky for any type of racing application. There's the Pickle Man making his way back around toward the tower, so make sure you go see him. Pick up all those great tasting pickles he's got. He's got some jalapeno, I know, and bread and butter, and just regular old deal like I like. But make sure you see him. He'll run out before this one's over with, I'm sure. Okay, Mike Blackwell back around here in his 55 Thunderstruck Thunderbird out of Campbell, South Carolina. Robin Harris bringing him up to the line. Still having to stay in the quick time performance right-hand lane right now as things are getting cleaned up and dried up over in the Larice Motorsports Insurance left lane. Sure miss Dave Anglin being here too, Dave. I see your comment there on our live. We miss you being here too, buddy. I know you got Christmas coming up, and I'm sure your wife's got you decorating or either about to start decorating pretty soon in that beautiful home of yours. Next up, Gaffney, South Carolina. Bill Wilson, the troublemaker, the 49 Studebaker truck with the Gene Fulton power plant underneath the hood. All right, Rick Varner back around the corner right here in the Spinny 3. Varner out of Kannapolis, North Carolina. C-Gas car here, the Spinny 3. Varner, the two-time Super Stock World Champion in his black 67 Camaro, has raced everything from A-Gas, B-Gas. I mean, he's raced every category we got, I think, besides besides H-Gas and our AFX category. Rick Varner, a long-time drag racer. Good to see him back behind the wheel of a car and here with us. Danny Preston out there with us again. Great to see him alongside of Steve Davis, who owns the car and is our 2020 World Champion. Apologize to our people out there listening on Facebook and on YouTube. Is battling a little bit of echo problem on some of the mics, but just bear with us. We're trying to work those out so we have a better audio sound for the rest of the day today and tomorrow. Rick Varner absolutely sending it to the red line right there as he drops the clutch on that run right there in C-Gas. Tony Novosatsky going to be up next right here in his 56 Chevy that he calls the Public Enemy. He's out of Gardendale, Alabama. I tell you, Tony's our first-year racer with us, but he is not the duck, as they call it. He's not a pushover out here, as he has really tuned up the performance of that race car, the Public Enemy, to where he is making some real competitive runs in super stock and not one that you can look by if you draw him on the ladder. Looks like Tony got that 7-inch Mickey Thompson hooked up real good right there with that one. That was a really good run for him. Junkyard Dino making another good pass right there as we get ready for the Buckeye Bandit coming up. He'll be in the Quick Time Performance right lane. First race of the year was down at our Gulfport race, and unfortunately he had some problems with a third member and wasn't able to race on the Saturday race day. Did make it on Friday. So Robin Harris going to bring him up to the line. Beautiful little Chevy too, all white. Don't know who the motor builder is on it, but he's got a Rare Morrison sticker on the hood scoop, and if that's the case, you know that's a quality build right there. Tons of tire spin right down there low, and not able to short shift it into second, so we saw at least 60 foot of just tire spin out of that car as it took off from the line. Really having a great time here on Halloween. A lot of people embracing the dressing up that we've encouraged here. We got Evil Knievel as our starter out there. We got Ric Flair making pictures out there and video. We got the Chick Magnet people. We got Scooby-Doo, Scrappy-Doo, and all kind of things going on around here. The lightheartedness of the Southeast Gassers coming through here on Test and Tune night for our finals at Shadyside, presented by Robbins Repairables. The Mount Holly, North Carolina native Dean Jonas going to be up next right here in his A-Gas car that he calls the Agent Orange 66 Chevy 2. 477 cubic inch big block Chevy underneath the hood, and I have been given clearance to let everybody know this is a motor that was Dean wasn't going to be able to race this weekend, and Leslie Horn let him borrow one of his spare motors. Leslie calls the motor Old Faithful. Now I don't know if that means it's got a lot of wins in it or what, but you got to think with a name like that, he's won a few times with it. So Dean Jonas got him a competitive steed this weekend, and let's see what he can do with it. Dean Jonas does a little crossover out there. as he was switching lanes, not the way he wanted to, like you would on an interstate. So he has to abort that run as well. Uncharacteristic, Dean's cars usually go really straight. He's a fabricator for TM Race Cars out of Spartanburg, South Carolina. Tommy Mooney, been with him for several years. Beautifully engineered car, and usually a car that goes pretty darn straight. So that's uncharacteristic for that to happen. There's the wasted wages of Tony Tagenhorst again. Goes over into the grade, pulls it back out of the corner, and gets down the racetrack in a pretty darn good elapsed time for a C-Gas run with it going that far toward the wall. A-Gas racer Kenneth Phillips up next. Former world champion in Kenneth Phillips, and I think he's won about 17 times on the A-Gas in Southeast Gassers. So a multiple-time winner. He knows how to put it in victory lane. He'll be over in the quick time performance right lane. So Phillips with a 421 cubic inch small big block from Gene Fulton underneath the hood. So a good pass right there for Kenneth Phillips. You know, you wonder what these engine combinations and weight to horsepower would be like. You know, the lightweight Corvette with the as I said, the small big block underneath the hood. But that right combination right there has proven to be a good one for Kenneth Phillips for many, many times that he's put it in victory lane. As next up, we've got the Youngblood C-Gas car in the lanes. And that is not the normal driver. Normal driver would be Josh Pruitt. This is Neil Pruitt, his dad, under the hood right here of the 63 Ford Fairlane. We got, looks like the Macho Man out there backing him up. Maybe the Macho Lady. Macho Nacho. Debbie Ison out there in front of the car, as she always is. My former neighbor that I love dearly. She's backing up her brother-in-law, Neil Pruitt, to the starting line. Now this ought to be interesting as the crew chief moving behind the wheel right here. So not too bad right there. Clean and straight for Neil Pruitt, as he's taking the young blood and putting it in there. Brad Henry up next in an A-gas car, the 41 Willis that he calls the Wild Child. Brad's out of Knoxville, Tennessee, with a 451 cubic inch Gene Fulton power plant under the hood. Henry been doing some incredible wheel stands in this car. I know so much so that he's trying to get it toned down a bit. Let's see if he's able to do that in this pass. I know down in Gulfport he was on the rear wheels hard several times. Made for some wonderful pictures and video that we got from that event. But I think it was a little too much for Brad's liking, as that car come down hard a couple of times. Don't know if it been anything, but I'm sure he's been through everything on the front end of it. So 5 o'clock, gentlemen, you got another couple of hours and we will close it down and start trick-or-treating with our children, as well as some of our adults, I'm sure, out here this weekend and tonight at Shadyside Dragway. If you live close and you hadn't decided where to go trick-or-treating, come on out. Man, car washes out about the 300-foot mark right there on Brad. So he definitely does a great job driving right there, gets out of it and just kind of coast on through to the end. That is definitely something that will make you have one of those sphincter tightening moments as that car gets out there and starts sashaying around on you, especially in the A-gas category. The fastest cars out here at 6 pounds per cubic inch of displacement. Speaking of which, the next one is an A-gas car. It's going to be Barry Lynn in the 65 Chevy Chevelle. Barry Lynn taking that burnout all the way past the 330-foot mark. And if he don't get those Mickey Thompsons sticky, I don't know what will. Crowd favorite right there. You hear the cheers from the fans. That's one way to pay him off, folks. Let him see you put your hands together as he drives by. I guarantee you he didn't do that for his rods or pistons. He did that for the fans. Pay him off with a round of applause as he comes back. The 65 Chevy Chevelle two-door wagon, affectionately known as the Little Red Wagon, out of Greer, South Carolina. 477 cubic inches of Scott Duggan's Par race engine underneath the hood. Robin Harris bringing him up to the beams. Good clean lead right there for Barry Lynn and a good run. So Barry Lynn will be pleased with that run as he has continued to shave down his elapsed time records this year. And another man who doesn't miss a race. It doesn't matter where we go, he is there. He is a stalwart here in the Southeast Gassers Association. The last Rebel 2 of Jerry Dean already been down the quick time performance right lane. Going to try the Larice Motorsports Insurance left lane this time in his second pass of the day. Karen Mitchell bringing him back in his tracks where she wants him. She is the crew chief there for Jerry Dean. Dean won the points championship in Superstock in 2024 and has repeated again here in 25. Just a dominating car for the last 2 years in our Superstock category. And one reason they dominate is because of Karen Mitchell and the work that she puts in with Jerry Dean and the testing that they do. And we hear rumors that they got a car that they're going to possibly debut in B-Gas next year. And that's got to make the guys in B-Gas get a little bit sweaty, knowing the kind of performance they can put out and the way they go about doing their job. There you see track owner Zach Buff down there on the racetrack, making sure that left lane is good to go for whoever wants to be in there. Tennessee Ted McKee going to be up next in the right-hand lane in the Larice Motorsport, in the quick time performance side. The Rocky Top Missile. He's out of Lenore City, Tennessee. Blake Housley built race car. Gene Fulton race engine underneath the hood here for McKee, who was the world champion in our 2023 season. Daniel Haynes won our points championship in B-Gas in 25, and we hear rumors that the Patriot that he drives is here on the property. So Daniel Haynes is pre-entered, and we'll see how that turns out, because that could throw some definite fireworks in our B-Gas category this weekend. Make sure you're tuning in tomorrow as we get started at 12 here with time trials. We'll have 2 rounds of time trials, and then we'll move right into eliminations. Good elapsed time run right there by Tennessee Ted McKee. As next up, we'll have a C-Gas entry right here. I think that's the C-Gas. I don't know if that's the Southern Comfort. Yep, that's the Southern Comfort C-Gas entry of Brad Wimberly. Wimberly out of McDonough, Georgia in the 62 Comet, with a Lamar Walden race engine underneath the hood for him. I got to tell you, Flair, you're doing great. You got the video in one hand and the steel in the other. All you need is the championship belt, baby. 16 time. Appreciate all the great photos Redline Motorsports brings to us and shares with us here and brings content to you through all our Southeast Gasser travels. Wimberly stands it up. It moves a little bit to the center, but he straightens it up nicely to a good representative run of a C-Gas car, as we got a B-Gas point leader and a former world champion coming your way, going to be in the Larice Motorsports Insurance left lane. That is Ken Rainwater out of Kimberly, Alabama. This race car was a World Championship race car in what was our D-Gas class before, when it was owned by Doug Dobbins. Rainwater has won a championship in his car and is leading the points, poised to take the 2025 championship, but only 15 markers ahead of Tennessee Ted McKee is Rainwater. So he's got to match everything that goes on to keep that 15-point lead. like another little timed 330-foot shutoff right there by Ken Rainwater. Not wanting to show their full hand yet. So we go from a B-gas point leader to the A-gas points leader right here in Chase Howard out of Greer, South Carolina, who's going to be in that same Larice Motorsports Insurance left lane. Chase Howard overtook the points lead while in Gulfport. Took one of the wins down there on our Friday night race in Gulfport, Mississippi. Gene Fulton power plant underneath the hood for him. Got his brother bringing him back to the beams. Scotty Cannon, car chief there behind the race car, 6-time Pro Modified World Champion. And there's your fastest A-gas run of the day right there, folks. Next up, Heath Adams in the Rusty Bullet, that 1953 Chevy out of Greenville, South Carolina. He's going to find himself going down the Quick Time Performance right-hand lane. And it's like a broken record. Once again, a Gene Fulton power plant is the choice for him underneath the hood. All right, Heather Peak bringing up Heath Adams to the line. Adams had a little bit of problem with the car going awry the first pass. Let's see if he's able to straighten that out. And a good C-gas run right there by Heath Adams. That's going to put him in the top half of the field for sure, maybe even in the top 5. That is a good pass right there by Heath Adams. Next up, Alan Pittman out of Greenville, South Carolina in his 41 Willis, part of the Sword and Pittman race team, or Pittman and Sword race team. This car, an A-gas entry right here, 451 cubic inches of Gene Fulton power underneath the hood for the former World Pro Modified Champion, Alan Pittman. This car has been very, very erratic on Pittman with the high horsepower and the, basically the shock package that we mandate here in the Southeast Gassers is not one with a lot of adjustability in it. And he has had a hard time getting that car to go straight and has had to basically back down the performance to get it to go straight. Did barely scrape the wall down in our event at Gulfport Dragway. But to be honest with you, if you saw this car go awry as many times as I have, just a little scratch on the side is nothing compared to what I thought might happen to this race car at one point. Car launches and goes left again on him, so he aborts that run. John Leidick up next in a Seagas car, the 1957 Chevy. He's out of Perry, Georgia. Leidick right around that top 5 in our points category, as Leidick has made every race this year with his 57 Chevy. Didn't really get a motor builder out of him. I think he might build some of it himself. He's got plans to put some paint and maybe a little candy paint on this car over the holidays and over the winter break that we have coming up, as we are here at our showdown at Shadyside, our final event of 2025, brought to you by RobbinsRepairables.com. Check out Robbins Repairables if you need any car parts, truck parts, anything. They have it online at RobbinsRepairables.com. All right, another Seagas car following him up. This is going to be the Jumping Jack Flash of Larry Cummins. He's out of Hammond, Louisiana. Beautiful little Falcon right here, gray paint job with the gold leaf lettering. I got 4 or 5 out here that are my favorites. That's one of them as well. That and the Pucker Time, and I really like Briley Stott's paint job with that color he's got, as well as Alan Pittman. I mean, it's really so hard to judge. These guys put so much into their racing cars and the performance of their cars and the engineering, and then to have the paint on top of that just adds icing to the cake. Make sure you catch on and get you some of that kettle corn, some good hot chocolate up there on the concourse, as well as check the Pickle Man out and get by the concession stand up there and get you something good to eat for supper. Got a super stock car coming next at you. That's going to be Kenny Phillips in the Street Legal. He's out of Campobello, South Carolina. Good super stock run right there for Kenny Phillips. So we still got cars in the lanes and cars ready to come at you, folks. Thanks for tuning in through our YouTube and our Facebook page. Let us know, comment, let us know where you're checking us out from, and if you've been to any events here in 2025 or plan to make any in 2026, I'd love to know your plans, as we are thinking about when to drop the schedule for next year. Probably going to be a couple of weeks. You'll see the 2026 racing schedule for the Southeast Gassers. There's Briley Stott again, the B-Gas racer. 17 years old, out of Columbus, North Carolina. Keeping a Stott in the driver's seat, something that's got to have a lot of pride right there for Quayne Stott. And in him starting this. And first off, Donovan racing and winning world championships with Donovan, and now Briley coming along, as well as cousin Gabriel Burrow winning a couple of championships. Real family tradition over there in Columbus, North Carolina. There's just something about that youth. There ain't no fear in them, guys, and that is a big rip right there in B-Gas. So that was a good one right there by Stott. That'll put him in the top 3, maybe 4, as they get ready to qualify tomorrow. Remember, qualifying at 12 noon tomorrow here at Shadyside Dragway. You can tune in also on YouTube tomorrow at 12 o'clock to catch all of the action, as we'll go live for the entire event. Bill Revels out of Canton, North Carolina, up next in his 63 Comet, the Black Betty. Todd Hertel race engine underneath the hood for him. Revels, a man of few words, but big action. All right, Bill Revels with a good rip right there in B-Gas. And speaking of rips, that's what Leslie Horn's trying to do right here, is he's made a lot of changes to his race car since our Gulfport race. And he is only, I think, 5 or 10 points behind in our A-Gas championship points battle, and he is dead set to try to win it again this year. This is his 3rd pass of the day. His first 2 have not been what he wanted. Wow, Leslie Horn absolutely all over the racetrack. That thing's like riding a bucking bronco right there. Bouncing around, and man, he has definitely got some work to do to tone that car down or tame it or do something. And I'm limited to this microphone. I don't know what he needs to do, but hopefully he can get that worked out with the help of Brian Harris Race Cars and Carburetor Bob, and get that thing tuned in to where he can be really competitive tomorrow, and let's see a true race to the championship here. couple of super stock racers going to go down the track alongside each other. Don Wilmot going to be over here in the quick time performance in the 66 Mustang. The 63 Ford Falcon Sprint of Bryant Dalton Sr. He finds himself in the Larice Motorsports Insurance left side. Dalton is going to finish the season number 2 in our points category after making a heck of a run trying to catch Jerry Dean, but just too much Jerry Dean horsepower and Karen Mitchell horsepower. So they're going to win the championship this year. But man, what a good run right here by Bryant Dalton Sr. Wayne Swafford going to make another pass. If I'm not mistaken, this is number 3 or 4 for Wayne Swafford here today. The Fingerville, South Carolina racer in his car that he calls Leroy, the 66 Chevy 2, finds himself in the quick time performance right lane. Once again, as supper time gets closer here, folks, don't forget about the concession stand here at Shadyside Dragway. Some of the best fried bologna sandwiches you'll ever have, along with hamburgers, hot dogs, and other things that they have up there. Good French fries. Also, don't forget about catching some good kettle corn. Man, that'd be good on today. A good hot thing of kettle corn, warm you up from the inside. Also, the Pickle Man's here, and he's got several varieties today, but he's going to have a full gamut tomorrow, and he'll be loaded up heavy tomorrow. So check the Pickle Man out. He is making his rounds to you on his green golf cart with the big flag that says the Pickle Man on it. Flag him down and get what you need. That's a better pass for Wayne Swafford as far as the handling of that race car. I know that's what he's been looking for. So that plus the ET that he had last time, that could pose some serious problems. And there he is, folks, our 2024 B-Gas World Champion, Daniel Haynes. Hadn't got to say that all year. He is in his car, the Patriot, beautiful 62 Falcon. His wife, Mary Beth Haynes, right out front bringing him back. They took a year to do more things with their family, and, you know, can't be mad at them for that, but we sure missed them out here on tour with us. It's awful hard to win a championship and work as hard as he did to win the championships and then lay it all down, but Daniel Haynes did it for the right reasons, his children, and to spend more time with his family. So let's see how far he has picked up the performance of that Flatwood Customs and Rob Ionario sponsored Falcon. Well, it moved to the right on him. He kept us all clean and off of the reflectors and off of the timing system, but not what he wanted to see out of that pass right there, I'm sure. SEGAS points leader Jared Perdue in the 62 Chevy 2 wagon finds himself in the quick time performance lane again. He went down it earlier today. He's going to make another pass in that lane this afternoon. encroaching in on the 5:30 hour here Eastern time. So a elapsed time improvement that time for Jaron Purdue from his first pass. So he continues to get a little faster, maybe a little better handle on the racetrack, or maybe Shaggy got a better handle on the racetrack for him. Doyle Lynn in the honky tonk, that 51 Henry J out of Dalton, Georgia. Tim Hall race engines underneath the hood. Lynn runs in our A-gas category. So great reaction time, 0:24 reaction time right there for Doyle Lynn. Heard him hit the rev limiter a couple of times right there, so got to get a little better with that shift, but he's got a little bit more left in the tank right there for elapsed time. SEGAS entry right here coming up. Mark, sorry, I don't have my notes in front of me. I know this is Mark someone. This is the former Firepower car. So glad that he wrote his name on the side of the car. Mark Halleck. Sorry I couldn't remember that. In the Sasquatch car. He calls it the Sasquatch. So Mark Halleck in our SEGAS category here in the 56. Beautiful 56. just white with just a little bit of paint on for the name Sasquatch. It's a beautiful looking car. And Halleck has gotten better as the season's gone on in our C-Gas category. Did not sound good right there. I don't see anything leaking from underneath the car, but I will defer to our track specialist. Sounded like something possibly in the top end, the carburetor or manifold, something like that was missing or busted or got some air in there or something. I don't know what caused all that, but good old trusty Stan Knievel is going to go down there and check everything out for us. Stan been here for years and years, and he knows this racetrack as well as anybody. So hopefully it's not terminal for Mark Halleck and he can get it fixed over the evening, and back out here tomorrow for the 12 o'clock start for time trials that we're going to have here for the Robbins Repairables Showdown at Shadyside, our finals here in 2025. Alan Platt up here next in a tribute car to his dad, Hubert Platt, the Georgia Shaker 3 that was campaigned for many years. This is an AFX car. Blair Patrick race engine, 427 cubic inch FE motor underneath the hood for him. So injected, a mechanical fuel injection on methanol right there is the application for that AFX car. All our AFX cars are on methanol. A couple of super stock entries coming at you next. Kim Haynes in the Bad Apple. He's out of Chesney, South Carolina. He'll be over on the Larice Motorsports Insurance left lane. And Alan Lovelady out of Hayden, Alabama, will be in his 67 Camaro, the underdog, in the quick time performance lane. A little stumble by Kim Haynes on the line right there. Alan Lovelady, no problems, clean down the racetrack. All right, back at you now. Brad Henry, A-Gas trim out of Knoxville, Tennessee here in a car that he calls the Wild Child, the 41 Willis. That car is performing pretty wild for him. He's going to have to get a handle on it with all that Fulton power that he has underneath the hood, making it perform pretty erratically.
Doing fine. How are you? Good.
Hogan with a nice leave right there, wheels up in the air as he makes a good run. He's a C-Gas competitor that we have here in the Southeast Gassers. Very cool afternoon here in Shadyside, at Shadyside Dragway in Shelby, North Carolina. As the leaves are changing and fall is definitely in full effect. Our last race of the year here, the culmination of our points championship, the final showdown at Shadyside, presented to you by Robbins Repairables. Robbins Repairables has been a good sponsor for us for many, many years. It's a great relationship between Marty and Terry Robbins. And just to finish that thought, if you out there are listening online or even here in the stands, if you're looking for some parts for any of your late model or newer cars, or even some older cars, they have a full line on their computer, on their website. You can go and use the drop-down arrows and find just about anything you're looking for right there on robbinsrepairables.com. Briley Stott going to be up next, a B-Gas competitor here in his Rambler, the 67 Rambler. Stott, a 17-year-old, looking to make another hit here, as this may be the time when finals go off as tomorrow night. So good time to make a pass if you think you got any intentions of being in the finals. Stott followed up by that Buckeye Bandit again. They ran back-to-back last time. They're going to make another pass back-to-back again, both choosing the quick time performance right lane. Once again, we're going to have trick-or-treat here tonight for the kids. So you'll see a lot of our people dressed in Halloween costumes out here, embracing the Halloween day that we've got here. So seen this many times on the NHRA circuit as they are out in Las Vegas a lot of times on Halloween, and those people dress up. Even some people wrap their cars. I know Bo Butner wrapped his car as the General Lee one year, and they all dressed up as Bo Duke and Luke Duke and Jesse Duke and Daisy Duke. So we got a lot of people dressed up here today, most notably Leah Stelz, who is dressed up as the Joker for her husband. The Joker is the name of their race car, Greg Stelz. So that's very appropriate and a very cool costume that she has on. Lots of cars launching and going to the left out of that right-hand lane. So I know it can't be the lane, so it's got to be something with these cars, as these guys up here do a great job of prepping this racetrack. So we got 10 minutes till 6, guys. If you're looking to get some a pass in today, you better get in the lanes. Next up, Blake Housley out of Lee's Summit, Missouri, by way of Lenoir City, Tennessee. Going to be up next in the Larice Motorsports Insurance left lane. That 55 Chevy right there. Car called Mr. Quick. Blake Housley built this car for his dad, Terry. He's going to be campaigning this weekend here at Shadyside Dragway. Is Blake Housley. So 002 on the reaction time for Blake Housley. That's nothing but a lightning quick reaction time right there, as they used to call his dad, Terry Housley, the blade, as he could cut that tree down, and it doesn't look like it fell too far out of the family tree, as Blake Housley just cut that tree down. It's like Heath Adams going to make another pass here in his 53 Chevy. He's out of Greenville, South Carolina. Been racing with us all year. I think he's got himself around the top 5 in our points category in C-Gas. Be able to let you know more about that tomorrow, as I got all my notes out tomorrow and ready to go as we start at 12 o'clock tomorrow. So make sure you tune in for time trials. We'll have 2 sets of time trials tomorrow at 2 p.m., followed by eliminations after that. And we'll bring them to you live on YouTube. We're streaming there. The Robbins Repairables 2005 Showdown at Shadyside. All right, so we need a crew member from the Mr. Quick to go pick up the race car. Blake Housley is torn up, or not torn up, but not able to get started. He's near the ticket booth. So pick up Blake Housley near the ticket booth. Nice lead for that 53 right there, as he was just a little bit red. 006 to the red side was Heath Adams on that one, but makes no difference here in Test and Tune, as he makes a good pass for C-Gas. He's continued to get better each time. And right behind him again, Alan Pittman in the Pittman and Sword 41 Willis A-Gas entry. Pony Tashin horse up next right here in the wasted wages, little 63 Chevy 2. Ross race engines underneath the hood, 302 cubic inches for him. Alfred Adams with a great looking leave right there, that 55 straight and true down the racetrack to a good elapse time number. SEGA is what Alfred Adams is running with us this year and has for the past few years. He finds himself, I think, in third position, if not fourth position in our SEGA category. I think it is fourth position. I think it goes Jaron Purdue, then Ernie Smith and Todd Oden, and then Alfred Adams, if I'm not mistaken. Once again, we'll be able to let you know more about that tomorrow when I get the boots and everything out. Gene Russell up next in the Junkyard Dyno. Gene Russell had his hands full on that pass right there, as does a great job keeping it off that right-hand wall as he went down the Good Time Performance right lane. Last one we got remaining out there, 8 gas entry. Chase Howard, the man leading our points right now. He stands alongside his car. It's like he might be waiting on somebody to come down there and make a pass with him.
Thank you.
All right, Chase Howard for the third time tonight going to make a pass right here. A-Gas points leader right now. The winner of our Gulfport race on Friday night. So coming in here riding a bit of a hot streak as he is trying to finish up and win his first ever world championship in A-Gas. He holds a narrow lead over Leslie Horn right now in our points category. Car takes a hard right. That has not happened today, as most of his runs have been very straight. So maybe some temperature changes. I don't know, but that's why Scotty Cannon, the 6-time Pro Modified World Champion, will be the one adjusting on that chassis right there to get it right for Chase Howard.
Larice Motorsports Insurance offers drag racers the broadest insurance policies in the industry. Larice Motorsports Insurance was created by racers for racers. Larice insures race cars on and off the track, trailers and equipment. Larice even pays racers contingencies at the fling bracket races. Don't wait until it's too late. Call Larice Motorsports Insurance today.
Harbin's Mechanical serves Atlanta, Georgia, and its metro area. From the big jobs downtown to the jobs in your hometown of the suburbs, they are your #1 source for your HVAC and refrigeration needs in Atlanta and its metro area. Stay cool in Hotlanta with Harbin's Mechanical Services.
Up next in the Larice Motorsports Insurance left side. Now the tree's activated. Perry, Georgia, where Leidick calls home in his 57 Chevy. Beautiful wheels up leave right there for Leidick. There's Kenneth Phillips in that bad to the bone 1958 Corvette that he calls the Silverstreak 2. Gene full power plant under the hood, 421 cubic inches of quote-unquote small block, like a big small block, or a small big block, or whatever you want to call it. That's how he's got that one classified. Former world champion in our A-gas category. Really good rip right there. That was going to put him toward the top. As I see the elapsed times tonight, if we were racing tonight, that would put him up toward the top. So really clean, crisp run right there for Kenneth Phillips.
Whether it's tires for your off-roading application, your street rod, and certainly the world of drag racing, from junior dragsters to the popular ET Drag Slick, which some of the top competitors in the Southeast Gassers Association drag racing use to perform at a high level, it is Mickey Thompson, and high performance being synonymous for over decades. Those Mickeys are sticky. Get stuck with high performance with Mickey Thompson.
Love the sound of a gasser banging through the gears as it makes a pass? Do you want that same feeling in your streetcar or truck? We've got the exhaust systems and parts that bring that iconic rumble straight from the golden age of drag racing. With a quick-time performance electronically controlled exhaust system, you can have race car loud with the flip of a switch or a push of a button. Give your ride that gasser sound it deserves.
Larice Motorsports Insurance offers drag racers the broadest insurance policies in the industry. Larice Motorsports Insurance was created by racers for racers. Larice insures race cars on and off the track, trailers and equipment. Larice even pays racers contingencies at the fling bracket races. Don't wait until it's too late. Call Larice Motorsports Insurance today.